What's up guys, Chooch back with another video. Today I'm out here on my M Super Pro 100 volt high torque doing some trail riding on some brand new fresh trails, and we're going to be hitting trails starting off in Denver, Colorado today and kind of working our way up the Front Range. We're going to go all the way up here to pretty much to where the Wyoming border is, kind of right behind Fort Collins, and ride some trails up there as well. And dude, this was just so much fun. This specific little trail right here was awesome. I love this little downhill flowing section. Look at all these little jumps right here. You could literally put a little bit of finesse on it, put a little turn in there, you know, a little bit of flair. And it was just, this was the most flowing section right here. It was awesome. I got the Merlin Fish foot plates on my unicycle right here. And then I got this wheel just outfitted with this homemade cover I put on here. I'm probably gonna pull it off soon and kind of redo this whole wheel. I'm in this whole thing of where I'm getting into remodeling wheels. So my latest M Super X or whatever that I had, what I'm doing right now is I'm sanding everything down, sanding the whole shell down and taking everything apart. And I bought some truck bed liner, you know, like some spray truck bed liner. And I'm going to be trying to do the whole shell covered in truck bed liner. I'm going to fully waterproof everything. I'm going to do some graphics that are like recessed, and then the truck bed liner is going to be sprayed on the outside, so it's going to be like recessed graphics in there. I'm going to have the Clark pedals on that wheel that I'm working on, and the knobby tire. So during all that mud riding and everything, I ended up actually blowing a motherboard, and that was from riding that knobby tire in that, like, it's a specific type of mud. If you're riding these things and it's that cakey, that almost like dry clay mud, you know, like almost like a polymer clay type of mud, it'll tend to cake up in the top of the shell. And you know, like, so with a dirt bike, what happens is, like, with the fender's high up above the wheel well, you know, so even if you're riding through some clay, you know, some really tacky clay mud that's really sticky, you know, and just cakes into that fender, it's still not going to make the wheel actually stop spinning. So you've seen that, and if you've ever rode dirt bikes before or watched different races or whatever, it really just depends on the consistency of the mud, whether or not it sticks on there and cakes. And in off-road racing, what a lot of riders used to do, you know, if it was a really muddy race with that, like, we used to race down in Georgia, you know, down in the southeast where it was that red clay mud, and that red clay is really thick and heavy, and it would just cake under those fenders, and it would actually add weight to the dirt bike, and you know, you'd get those floppy fenders because they'd have so much weight on them. And some people would take like Pam cooking spray and spray under those fenders in order to keep that mud from sticking in there, and that worked really well. And I think I might apply that little hack to mud riding on these, just because there's no clearance in there. You know, that wheel is just so close to the top of that shell. Any mud that gets caked in there, it's going to start haltering it a little bit. You know, it's not going to stop the wheel completely from spinning, but it will add a lot of extra friction in there. You know, you don't want that over a long period of time riding. Even, you know, I'm a lightweight rider, so, you know, if you're heavier than me and then you start adding that mud friction in there from that shell being caked in there, then, you know, you're waiting for something bad to go wrong. And that's actually what happened with that off-road rig that I was running. So that wheel, I was riding off-road, and I got so much mud caked in there and that thing, guys. So after that last video I put out, I rode forever, man, out there, and I was having, you know, the best time ever with that wheel. But what happened was is I hit, you know, that those guys, they thought the wheel was great right there. Those are the coolest. I love people like that on the hiking trails. You know, they're just love it, man. And that is most of the people, man. Literally, I'd say 99.9% of the people I come across on the trails think this is the coolest thing in the world. All positive vibes, 100% respectful with everybody on the trails, no matter what. Even if they throw me shade, even if somebody, you know, gets a little bit mad at me on the trails or whatever, I am utmost respect. I'm in the meeting.
Why is patriotism not expressed?
All right, let's go respectful to them back, and just do that, guys, because we want to promote these things in the best way possible, and that's what I always do. You know, at any time, on the street, on the trails, whatever. You know, I've most interactions I've ever had on this thing have been positive. So that's, you know, that's I love it. You know, people think it's really a cool thing, and most people haven't seen it, guys. If you're riding somewhere like this is out near Wyoming, so you got to think a lot of these people have never seen an electric unicycle. If you're not in like Los Angeles, if you're not in like in New York or in a big city like Chicago or somewhere like that, you know, your smaller cities definitely have a few riders, but they don't have the abundance of riders that you see like in in Orange County or somewhere like that. But out here, a lot of people have never seen it before, and they just are like, "What is that? That is the coolest thing in the world." And then you have some people that are like, "Whoa, what the hell is that?" It's just like whenever the Model T was introduced, for example, whenever he was coming down the street with that thing and it was scaring horses and the horses were getting spooked and flipping over carriages and whatnot. It's changing times, and now everybody has an automobile and doesn't really use a horse and carriage anymore, so it's just one of those things. Technology changes, people evolve, and things change, and people got to learn about it, and so that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to help people learn about it. Yeah, but anyways, I was on a road trip coming up here to Wyoming, and I was just hitting different trails and stuff. I had my truck, and I was just doing I was circling back, circle back Saki. I was circling back, so I'd go up, and then I'd hit all the trails I could, and then I'd come back to my truck, and then stop and eat or recharge or whatever it may be. But I ended up breaking down, and I was planning on just riding in the truck, and going along the whole way up to Wyoming, taking the truck, riding 2 different wheels, and just doing what I needed to do. Ended up with the wheel that I was riding in the last video with the off-road tire, my M Super X 100 volt. That one actually, I ended up popping the board on that one, like I said, and so I was just like, man, so it kind of put a damper on my trip. And then this wheel was dead, and so I ended up just stopping at a hotel, and the people were awesome there. So I'll show you the hotel I stayed at the end. It was the Elizabeth Hotel up in Fort Collins, up at the northern end of Fort Collins, and they were just super nice, man. I told them about the YouTube channel, and I said, I'll throw you a little segment in at the end of it, and they gave me $50 off my room, so I really appreciate that, guys. To you at the Elizabeth Hotel in Fort Collins, and it was awesome. The room was great, the stay was great, and after a long day of having a breakdown, so that wheel broke down, and I had to hike basically from behind the Horsetooth Reservoir all the way around it, carrying that wheel with the off-road tire on it. And guys, so with mud and stuff like that, I just send it. That's one thing that I do. And I prepare for those type of situations. And the thing is, if you don't have a positive attitude when something like that happens, it's gonna really ruin your day. So the board blew up in that thing. I was at least a mile away from anywhere that I could call an Uber to, and I'm not gonna just leave my wheel there or whatever, dude. So I picked that thing up and I just started walking with it, My hands were literally bleeding. By the time I got out of there, I was exhausted, man. My arms felt like jello. My whole chest hurt. Like, man, it was terrible. Like, I literally had to walk with carrying that unicycle a long way. And I haven't blown a board up on one of these things in forever, guys. And that's why I've just been so cindy with it, and you've just seen me riding in the snow so much and riding in mud and everything else. And I can tell you guys, the only thing that will pop one of these motherboards is literally an insane amount of mud. I caked so much mud inside of that wheel that it literally would not hardly turn anymore. So it was all my doing. It was all me being a full-on idiot, with how I was riding the unicycle, pushing it to the absolute limit. But I want you to know, you can push these things hard, guys. The new motherboards, the new technology in it is phenomenal. It really is impressive of what that thing did handle. And I wasn't even mad in the situation, because it literally there was so much mud caked in that wheel, man. I literally had to I got it back to the house, man, and I've been cleaning it out. I took the entire shell apart, took everything apart, and it was just still caked in there, like so much mud. So, the consistency of the mud matters, guys. You can ride it in stuff like this. So the slush is no problem. The slush is just going to melt out. Don't worry about that. Sloppy mud like that is no problem. It's just that like polymer clay type of mud, man, and it is just going to ruin your day, But, I had just read the book Can't Hurt Me. You know, David Goggins, he wrote that book. And dude, it was the funniest thing, dude. I literally was just like replaying David Goggins in my head, you know, as I was like carrying this wheel down the mountain. Dude, I have never been that exhausted carrying that. Dude, my arms were jello, bro, after carrying that thing for like a mile. Like, I'm not kidding you. And I was so happy to just Uber back and get a hotel, man. And then like, so I Ubered back to the hotel, and I just rode the unicycle and then got my truck the next day. And but I really appreciate the guys at the Elizabeth Hotel again. Thank y'all so much. Stay was awesome. If y'all are in Fort Collins, there's some great trails to ride behind the Horsetooth Reservoir. I mean, these trails went forever, guys. If it wasn't a rainy, cold day out here, then I could have just gone and just ripped even more, you know, if I'd had the other unicycle too. But, you know, I got even more footage, you know, I even got more footage than this, but this is what I put together right now. But it was great, man, you know, cold, rainy, but it was just so much fun. I really enjoyed it. And Fort Collins, man, y'all got some good riding. I really enjoyed it, It's great, man, great time. So after that long hike and everything of pulling that wheel out the day before, I stayed in this awesome hotel, which I'm going to show y'all right here at the end. And then this footage that you're seeing right now is actually from the day after. You know, after I woke up, I did my Zoom meetings, everything at the hotel, and then I was able to go out for another ride. So all in all, a really fun unicycle-specific trip. I encourage you to do one yourself. I had a great time doing it, and I definitely am going to keep doing these trips. You know, let's go ahead. We might do a USA adventure on the unicycle. The links below, guys, take you straight to eWheels and eRides UK. So eWheels is where you're going to want to go for everybody in the USA and Canada, and extremely fast shipping, extremely reliable customer service. eWheels is the best. And for everybody overseas and everywhere else other than the United States and Canada, go with eRides UK. They will get you set up. The links below, guys. Use the code CHOOCH5 and you can get a discount from eRides UK as well. You can also get an instant $20 discount from Lazy Rolling. So all the jackets that I wear, they're Kevlar lined and they're armored. So if you do go down, you know, you got some protection there. They're easy to throw on and I really swear by them. Use code CHOOCH at checkout for your $20 off. If y'all enjoyed the video, press that red subscribe button and I'll see y'all in the next one.